Hey yogis, let's do this. We only got 25 minutes, so let's get right to it. Today's going to be just a bunch of things that make you feel good. So let's start at the front of your mat. And go ahead and close your eyes, bring your hands to heart center. Take a good deep breath and take your attention to your feet. Let's get a posture check before we start. So we're going to talk about the four corners of your feet. If you're looking at the ball of your foot, you've got the under your big toe, under your little toe, and then on your heels, kind of like either side of your heel. Those are the four corners of your feet. So press into that and notice how it changes everything through your entire frame. It helps get your hips in a neutral position, and then you can bring your shoulders back and you can stack your head on top. So everything is just, think of it like your whole skeleton is stacked on top of itself, like head and spine and all that. Nice full breath. So open across your chest, palms face front. Keeping your breath, supported through your core. And this right here, you want to keep this through your whole practice. This good posture, take it into all your poses. And then inhale, take it up. If you're experienced, pay attention to your feet the whole time. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step to plank or jump to chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga, through into up dog, back into down dog. Walk it out. Breathe. And again, pay attention to your hands and your feet. Pay attention to the things that are touching the ground. Keeping your breath. Having a sense, especially if you're experienced, having a sense of balance. So everything shouldn't be all front loaded. It's in your hands and it's in your feet. Belly button in. Inhale and exhale. Not that fast. And then bring your feet up to your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand. Take your arms above your head. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Inhale, take it up. Again, pay attention to your feet. Exhale, forward fold. Even as you're moving through it, pay attention to your feet. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step to plank or jump to chaturanga. Inhale, exhale, into chaturanga, through into up dog, back into down dog. Keeping your breath. Bend your knees if you need to help to just get into whatever needs to be gotten into. So we were open across our chest when we were standing at the beginning, checking our posture. Check for that now. If your elbows or if your shoulders are coming up into your ears, think like you're taking your shoulder blades wide and down your back. Nice, good full breath. And then bring your feet up to your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand, take your arms above your head. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Inhale, take it up. Check your posture even now. Support with your core as you come forward. Support with your core as you come up. Inhale, step to plank, so still supporting with your core. Exhale, chaturanga, through into up dog, and back into down dog. That's one of the things that is unifying and simplifying about practicing yoga is you have certain things that stay constant through all of the changes. So you're changing motions, but you've still got your core engaged. You've still got that awareness of the ground. You've still got the awareness of your breath. So those things are like a thread that threads the whole thing together. And it's beautiful to take that off the mat and into your life. It just gives you a sense of continuity and mindfulness through all the different parts of your day. All the different seasons of your life. Keep your breath, relax your face. Feel the ground supporting you. And then bring your feet up to your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand, sweep your arms above your head. We're going to do one more so that you can just practice one more time. The core, the feet, all these things to be aware of. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step to plank. It's actually kind of good to, hold on. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga. Through into up dog. And back into down dog. It's nice to pick one feature and really focus on that for a particular practice. So if you want to focus on, whatever's touching the ground right now, it's your hands as well as your feet, you can do that. Really pay attention. That's a good one to do if you're ever needing to feel grounded. If you're stressed, if you're just feeling disorganized or whatever, then groundedness is a really nice thing. Another one that can be really nice to focus on through your whole practice is to really bring the energy to your center, engage your core. Focusing on the breath for your whole practice is great. So yeah, by just picking one, you might actually get more out of it than being like, no, I'm going to do all of it. It's like, okay. I mean, do as many as you can. You can just pick whatever comes to you at the time, too. Go ahead and bring your feet up to your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand. Take your arms above your head. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Inhale, take a big step out for warrior two. Inhale, and then exhale. Take a few bend and straighten your legs. To get into your hip joint, and then bring it into warrior two. So one of the big things that we go for in yoga is balance. And that's not just balance in the sense of like standing on one foot. It's also balance in the sense of, for example, in this pose, not having the front quad doing all the work. You're balanced in your 2 feet. Try to put some weight in your back foot too. So think like you're moving your hips a little more towards your back foot. A lot of times people will reach forward. That's another thing. If it feels like your quads, you're like, oh my gosh, my quads in this pose. You may be reaching forward. Here, let's switch sides. So go ahead and take your bending and straightening. And I love that as a way to do life, just to look for balance. So, when life feels really complicated, you can just say, okay, what do I need to balance me out right now? Breathe. And especially if things have changed, if you were theoretically in quarantine for over a month, that would be so weird, wouldn't it? If that were to happen someday, then you might need different things to balance you out than you normally do. And that might be why you're feeling a little odd, is because maybe the normal things that you normally do just aren't really working. And it's like, well, it's probably because, you need different stuff to balance you out right now. Namely, you probably need to get out the door and see people. That's not an option, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. It works, that balance principle works for a lot of things. Go ahead and turn to the front, come onto your back toes, and take it into a lunge. So nice and high on your back toes, reach up, and take an optional back bend. And then bring it up. Straighten your leg and pivot to the other side. Nice and high on your toes. Lunge. Reach up, take an optional back bend, just getting into your hips. Bring it up. Emotions tend to store in your hips, so go ahead and engage your core for balance to bring it back up to the front. So stretching your hips can help when you've had a lot of stuff to process lately. Go ahead and get into your wrists, keeping your breath. And then inhale, take your arms above your head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step to plank or jump to chaturanga. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga. Through into up dog. Back into down dog. Inhale, lift your right leg. Open your hip, bend your knee. And breathe. This is a great one if you tend to store stress in your stomach and also your hips. It opens your hips. But you can just release. Consciously release if you tend to hold stress in your stomach. And you can even maybe try pressing your chest to your thigh more. So that you can take your knee a little bit higher. Go ahead and switch sides. That will that'll help you get into the stretch a little bit differently as well. Yeah, just release with your stomach. Even though normally I would, we're talking about ab engagement right now, this particular stretch is just awesome for getting that stress out of your body. Keep your breath. Square your hips off. Put that foot down and walk your hands back to your feet. Slowly roll up. Stack everything, just like we did at the beginning. Stack everything one on top of the other. Keep your breath. And then take a big step for wide-legged forward fold. Grab your hands behind you, lace your fingers, and stay open across your chest. If you're slouching in your shoulders, then you're not going to be able to open in your shoulders. So you want your shoulders back. Inhale, and then exhale. Come forward. Especially if you're experienced, pay attention again to the four corners of your feet. And notice how that helps you engage your muscles all through your legs. Keep your breath, relax through your jaw. People think of yoga as a passive thing, and it's like, no, you're engaging your muscles as you stretch. That helps your body to know that you're paying attention, and it helps you deepen into the stretches, and it prevents injury. If you strengthen at the same time as you stretch, then it's just you're a lot less prone to injury. Keep your breath. And then press into the floor as you bring it up and release. Feels good. Keep your breath. Then turn your front foot to face front. Arms out to the sides. Inhale, exhale, reach forward, and come into triangle. So one of the important things about triangle is, again, to stay open across your shoulders. So think of it as if from the front, like you're trying to take your shoulders as far apart from each other as you can, like from right to left. And if it helps, you can bring your hand to your hip. Keep your breath, keep your spine straight, and breathe. Then press into your feet to come up. Anytime you use the floor to help you, it's going to help your balance. When you see people move with really just seemingly effortless, graceful transitions, they're using their core most of the time. And also, like I say, use that floor. So again, if you're hunched forward, you're not going to really get it. This is a common thing you'll see in this pose. Open your shoulders. Think of it like as you're trying to take your shoulders far apart from each other in the front, you're actually kind of trying to take them a little bit closer to each other in the back. That might be a way you can think about it, while you keep your spine straight and keep your breath. And then again, use the floor to help you come up. Turn to face the front. Step your back foot up. And come back to our starting Tadasana. Take another breath. Check your posture again. Pick your whatever thing you're going to work on, whether it's feet or core or breath, whatever. As you inhale, take it up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step to plank or jump to chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale. Through into up dog. Back into down dog. Inhale, lift your right leg and step to the outside of your foot. Come onto your knee or stay on your back toes. Come onto your elbows. Stay on your hands or come onto your elbows. And you can either keep your foot facing forward, you can come onto the knife edge. We are going to get into the hips. So just keep breathing. You may feel it even more, you may feel it more here as well. But as I started to say, the hips tend to store emotions, so we're just gonna release. And stretching the hips doesn't particularly feel good all the time, but it feels so good afterwards. Kind of like how it is when you're processing emotions. Doesn't always feel good during, but it feels really good after, and it's important to do. Keep breathing. And then step it back. And lift your right leg. Step to the outside of your other hand. Same thing. Breathe. And you can move around a little bit based on what your body needs. Keeping your breath. And then step it it back. Lift your right leg and step through. Drop to your back knee. If you want to come up like this, you can. But I actually, sometimes when I'm working on just my hips, I like to have my hands down like this so I can really focus on getting here. And just breathe. So one of the big ways, like a big secret for getting into your hips, is the angle of your hips. Right now, like if your hips are pitched forward, then you're not going to stretch into the hip flexors as much as if you think of it like you're trying to bring your hips up a little bit. Like if your hips were a bowl, you're trying to not spill as much water out of that bowl. Notice how all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I feel that. Keep breathing. Staying mindful, you don't want to overstretch. So be careful with yourself. And then bring it back. Lift your other leg. Step it through. And breathe. And stretch. Even here, you can still practice being open across your chest. You can take good posture into every pose. And you also can take bad posture into every pose, and that's not what we want. So keep your breath. You're not forcing anything, you're being mindful, you're tuning in. So think about the angle of your hips. If they were a bowl, you're trying to just a little bit less water spilling out of that bowl. Keep breathing. And then step it back. Lift your right leg and we're going to take it through to pigeon. So you're going to square your hips off. If you need a block or a blanket or a pillow or anything like that, you can do that in order to keep your hips square. If this is a lot to ask of your knees, you can do this on your back. If you're a pigeon patron, then go ahead and do your thing. But yeah, if you need to be on your back, you can also do it like this. You want to just be very respectful of your knees in this pose. And sometimes this pose feels amazing. If this pose is a lot, if this pose is really intense, use the prop as best you can, but also just something to know about stretching in the hips is what I said before. It doesn't always feel amazing. There are definitely times when you have to just breathe through it. And I said we're going to do all the poses that make you feel good. So it will definitely make you feel good at the end. But one of the things that you can learn if you are in a pose that doesn't feel good while you're in it is to focus on the breath. Instead of focusing on the discomfort, focus on something else and know that it will end. And that is what I use whenever I'm dealing with discomfort in life too, is it will end. I used to hate it when people would say this too shall pass. I was like, that's just the most possible cliche thing you could say. But for some reason it has definitely come to my mind a lot with the crisis. It's like, it will. I mean, it's gonna be weird for a while, a long while, but it will. We'll get through it. It'll pass. We'll figure it out. We'll adapt. Go ahead and bring it up. And lift all the way up through your sternum. Take your shoulders back. If you'd like, you can bend your back knee. And then as you're lifting, so lifting your sternum up to the sky, reach your head back, and then almost like you're trying to see your foot. I mean, you're not going to get anywhere close, but just pretend. Keep your breath. And release. Hands to the mat, step back to a down dog. Walk it out. Lift your right leg, left leg, step it through. Square your hips off. If your hips aren't square, then you're getting out, like, that's not really giving you what you're going for in the pose. So that's why it's better to just use a prop so that you can get squared. And then come forward. You also have that option on your back if you wish. And release. If this pose is like super easy for you and you want to take it harder, and you've already gotten, anytime you're going to open, like if you want to get further into the pose, always come to the side first. But if you've already gotten parallel and that's still too easy, you can actually take it more than parallel, and then it eventually deepens to splits. So yeah, you can actually be working on your splits if this has gotten easy for you. And if that was too quick for you to see what I was talking about, then email me and I'll fill you in. Otherwise, keep breathing. Another tip in this pose is to relax something that's easier to relax. So if you're like, it's just, relax your face, relax your shoulders, relax things that aren't so much related to what you're stretching, and it has a domino effect. Because it has a domino effect the other way around too, when you're like, ow! Like if it hurts in your hips, and you're gonna tense up in your face. And that's how it is in life too. When it hurts one place, it makes you tense up in places you're not normally tense. But if you can relax in the easy places, it helps you relax in the harder places. Try it. It's a good little tip. Keep your breath. And then come up. Bend your back knee. Pretend someone has a string. They've tied a string to your sternum and it's now tied to like going up towards the ceiling. They're pulling that up as you are lifting up and trying to see your foot with your head. As opposed to seeing your foot with something else. Seeing your foot with your foot? I don't know what I'm saying. Lift up, and so I'm saying get into the upper back. That's what we're going for here. Keep your breath. And then straighten your leg, bring your hands to the mat. Step to down dog. Come onto your knees, come onto your elbows. Let's do a quick cobra. So hands by your chest, shoulders back, belly button to your spine as you lift. And do that same thing that we just did. So pretend there's a string attached to your sternum. Someone's lifting that up and you are looking back behind you as much as you can. Breathe. And lower. Of course, if you're like, yeah, I'm not even gonna do half of that, then please honor your back. It's definitely, you wanna work slowly up into things. If you try to speed it up, even if you can even if you somehow get away with not getting injured while speeding it up, you will eventually have to pay your dues. Go ahead and bring it up. Separate your feet to the inside of the mat. Hands by your chest. Inhale, lift. Bend your knees. Reach your head to your feet. What I mean when I say you will have to pay your dues is, if you don't get the proper foundation, you might be able to kind of work your way through some of the more foundational poses. But then when you want to do harder stuff, it's going to really show that you didn't have a good foundation, and you will have to go back and learn the right way anyway. Except now you'll have a bunch of bad habits ingrained. So just start where you are, and that's okay. That's a lot of what yoga is about, is accepting that. Keep your breath. Eye gaze back to the front. Push it back. Take your hands, or take your legs out in front of you. Do just a quick bend your knee, push into your elbow, and just take a quick twist. Switch your sides to help release your back. So push into your knee, Again, open with your shoulders as you twist. And then come back to the middle. Inhale and exhale, slowly roll back until you're all the way flat in the mat. Maybe bring your knees into your chest, give them a quick little hug. And then take it into your final relaxation. If there's anything else you want to do and you've got a little bit more time, you're welcome to do whatever you like. Or just let yourself rest and be supported by the ground. Stay here as long as you like. If you're ready, you can bring it up. Thank you for practicing with me. I hope you feel refreshed to go handle whatever you have to handle today. From my heart to yours, namaste.